Hello everyone, my name is Andrei and today I'm going to explain you the code of tictactoe game. So our tictactoe game is this one, classic emoji if you want, and here it is. So let's start. First of all, we need an HTML file, and here we have the canvas with the ID canvas, and its width will be 608 and height will be the same. So, and it will be in the middle from here, and it will have the background image, this following one, this one. Actually, it is this. So in our JavaScript code is this, and let's start. First of all, we need to take that canvas, and we do document.getElementById by ID canvas, and we get a context, 2D context. Then we assign to the variable w the canvas .width, and to the variable s the height of the canvas. We have a variable first. It will be either 0 or 1 because this math random function returns a random number between 0 including to 1 not included, and math round gives us the rounded number according to the rule. If it is greater than 0.5, greater or equal than 0 to 5, it is 1, and if it is less than 0.5, it is 0. We have a variable isOver, which and I assign to it false, which will be used later, and we have a variable isX, which determines whose step is now. We have a variable C, and we have a variable R, which will give us the place of our step, and we have a board. So our board, at first our board is empty, and we have the random function. Here we have the function that returns a random number between our given number and our between 1 and our given number. So let's start. As you see, we have a two-dimensional board, and the value of this board are all empty now. So first of all, we need our next move function, which will determine which is the next move. Basically, it is for the computer, which is the next move for the computer. So in it we have. Well, I will explain this code by parts, and in the end we'll just use these functions: the function next move, the function make move, and the function find winner. This all will be used here. So let's start with our next move function. This will give, first of all, we have a variable A, we have a variable B, we have a variable C, and we assign to it 0. First of all, we create two for loops, and we will check whether the places are empty or not, and if 9 of them are not empty, we will return over, which will mean that our game is over. And this is for security. Here we have an infinite loop, and we assign to the variable A a random number between 0 to 2, and this will return from 1 to 3, and -1 will return from 0 to 2. And we have a variable B, which will return to 0 to 2, a random number between 0 and 2. And if our board with these coordinates, to say so, is empty, we will assign to our array 0 this number, and to array 1 this number. This will be used in our make move function. So basically, and as this is an infinite loop because because every time we assign to A and B random numbers, and we have to check them, and as soon as these coordinates are empty, we will return this array, and it will get out of this infinite loop. So this was our next move function, and now we have our make move function, which will actually change these empty places to x or 0. Well, first of all, this our make move function takes our board. Here our board, and here it is. Then it takes the location and where it should be changed, and it takes is x, which will change either to x or to 0. Well, if our location is not empty, we will return -1, because this means that our coordinates are invalid and they are not empty. So if our coordinates are empty, in other cases when the place with these coordinates is empty, we check if x is true. So it is the step of x. We assign to our board with these coordinates, location 0, location 1. We assign to it x, and in other cases, when x is not true, so it is the step of 0, we assign to this to location with these coordinates in our board, we assign to it 0, and our make move function returns 0. So it is not very important. Just you'll see it later. Then we have our find winner function, which will check whether our game is over, and it will check who is the winner, if there is a winner. So here we have 4 variables which have 0. We have an object win, and at first we assign to the winner. In it we assign to it none. So at first there are no winners. Then we check horizontally for x's. If here we have a loop, for loop, and it checks whether whether the row is whether all elements of the row are x's. And so at first we have board 0, 0, then we have board 0, 1, board 0, and board 0, 2. Then it changes, and it checks for each row. And if all 3 values are x, it assigns to win.winner the x, and it assigns to winning locations our coordinates of winnings. So if the first row wins, if all 3 values are x, it will assign to win.winning locations 0, 0, 0, 1, and 0, 2. So this checks the rows, horizontal rows. Then we check the diagonal. Then we check the diagonal here. So if we have a for loop, and if board EE is x, we increase our a by 1, and if all 3 locations are all 3 values are x in our diagonal, it will assign to win.winner x and the coordinates, 0, 0, 1, and 2, 2. Then we check this was the diagonal from left to right. Here we check the diagonal for from right to left. and we assign the value x.